Hi, it's Abby, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the most popular cheese in the United States. If you guessed that we'd be talking about American or even cheddar cheese, you'd be mistaken. According to the Wisconsin Center for Dairy Research, mozzarella is currently the most produced cheese in the United States. Furthermore, according to an article within the Journal of Dairy Science, approximately 30% of nearly 3 billion kilograms of cheese produced annually in the US is mozzarella. In this speech today, I'm going to teach you a bit about what mozzarella is, how to pick out the best mozzarella for you and your uses, and finally, a couple of ideas on how to enjoy mozzarella. According to an article within the Association of Food Scientists and Technologists about the functional properties of mozzarella, mozzarella is a cheese that belongs to a class of the pasta filata family, which involves the principle of skillful stretching of the curd in hot water to obtain a smooth texture in the resulting cheese. This cheese is going to be soft, white, unripened, and it may be consumed shortly after manufacturing and processing. Mozzarella cheese is generally not aged at all for this reason. There are two main categories of mozzarella available to US consumers in your average grocery store, and that's going to be your domestic and Italian style cheeses. Mozzarella that is produced domestically is made with citric acid or vinegar, and this is done due to regional preference as well as factory production efficiency. The taste of American made mozzarella is one that consumers generally call mild and slightly sweet due to your faster process of using citric acid and vinegar. On the other hand, you have your traditional Italian mozzarella, which is made by culturing the milk with lactic acid bacteria. And that's going to be added at the beginning of the cheese making process to convert those naturally occurring sugars in the milk to acid, which coagulates those milk proteins into a curd. This method creates a tangier taste that is balanced by an accompanying creamy flavor, generally. Along with that taste, you should also consider the texture of your mozzarella. Mozzarella should not be mushy or spongy. When you slice that cheese, it should hold its shape and not squish down at all, no matter the variation of mozzarella. And it should hold its form. Additionally, you should consider the freshness of your cheese. Where it's from or its pedigree doesn't really matter if the cheese is past its peak freshness. Freshness is a cause for concern with mozzarella because of how it's made. The use of lactic acid bacteria in Italian mozzarella continues to convert to lactose, the naturally occurring sugar in milk, into lactic acid even after the cheese is made. This loss and increase in acid creates for a more sour tart cheese. In terms of mozzarella, it might actually be smarter to go with a local variety versus a renowned cheesemaker just because of how the cheese might lose flavor qualities during your transit. According to the Association of Food Scientists and Technologists, as an ingredient in food, cheese is required to exhibit certain functional characteristics in the raw as well as cooked forms. And that's going to include melting, stretching, free oil formation, elasticity, and browning, which are all considered significant for mozzarella cheese. The moral of the story here is choose your cheese by what you're doing with it. A general rule of thumb, and you can do this with all cheeses, is that if you're serving it by itself or as an appetizer or the main ingredient of a dish or as a part of charcuterie board, if you're feeling fancy, spring for an expensive cheese for an upgraded experience. Similar to wine, if you're cooking with it, it's permissible to go with a more economic wine. And if you're consuming it alone or as a main part of the dish, go for a more expensive option. It will have an upgraded tasting experience. Now that I've told you about what mozzarella is and how to pick some out for yourself, here's 3 tasty ways that people generally enjoy it. The first is a caprese salad. Mozzarella blends well with the fresh tomatoes and basil. Many people enjoy it in the summer. The second is mozzarella sticks. This is generally a less classy option, but the crispy outer layer and stretchy melty mozzarella are generally enjoyed at more casual events. Lastly is lasagna. This is a traditional use of mozzarella, which is generally usually very flavorful and a great meal to share with friends and family on Christmas or other holidays. I hope I've taught you a bit about mozzarella today, and thank you for listening.